Today, we are getting some of the KFC Beyond Chicken and then seeing if we can make some at home, but even better. And here's what the KFC chicken nuggets look like. I'll go ahead and rip them apart to show you the inside. Pretty wild stuff. It's a lot firmer and chewier than I had expected, but still really dang good. So let's see what we can do. And for the meat part of our chicken, I'll be using our good friend Tofu. And I'm gonna freeze the tofu and thaw it, then freeze and thaw it again, and then press it. And doing this will cause the water in the tofu to freeze and expand, and it will create a meatier texture for our tofu. I originally saw this on Mary's Test Kitchen, link in the description for her original video where she goes a lot more in depth on it. I'm also going to try pressing the tofu first, then freezing and thawing and pressing again. I've seen other folks do this, and to be honest, I didn't end up seeing much of a difference. So try it out yourself and see what you'll like. I'll leave a video in the description for that as well. Now, for the most famous 11 herbs and spices, let's get a recipe I found on good old Wikipedia. And I'm going to make a big old batch, but we're going to start with some salt, some thyme, basil, oregano, and then celery salt, one of my new favorite spices, and then a whole bunch of black pepper, of course, some dry mustard, paprika. I only had smoked, so I went with that, and no regrets either. Some garlic salt, and then ground ginger, and then a ton of white pepper. In fact, I ran out, and oddly, I could taste the white pepper more in mine than the KFC, so go figure. I also threw together a dipping sauce real quick. Just get a cup of mayo, vegan mayo of course, a tablespoon of vinegar, and a tablespoon of the KFC spice mix. Whisk that up and taste it and decide it's a good sandwich spread, but too much mayo for dipping. So add some ketchup and some mustard, and then why not some barbecue sauce. And this stuff was so dang good, but I totally forgot to use it because my nuggets were actually so double dang good on their own. But this sauce is ridiculous, so you should totally make it too. Now to put our dredging station together, we'll start with 1 cup or 120 grams of all-purpose flour, and then an equal amount of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and then 3 tablespoons of the KFC seasoning we just made. And then to impart some chicken flavor, I'll use some of this chickenless bouillon powder. You can find this online or at your local Asian market. And we're gonna whisk that up, and now we need to get our wet batter going. So let's start with 1 cup of unsweetened plant milk, followed by 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, another tablespoon of the chickenless bouillon, and then 2 tablespoons of our seasoned flour mixture. And we're gonna give that a whisk. And now we just gotta dredge our tofu nuggets. And since these are smaller than a chicken sandwich, I'll be doing a 1.5 dredge instead of a double dredge. So I'll start in the flour, shake off the excess, and then go into the wet, and then back into the dry. And then just repeat that with all your nuggets until they're all done. And then now we just got to get a deep skillet or a Dutch oven. And we're going to fill that up about halfway with a neutral oil with a high smoke point. I'm using peanut oil. And we want to get that temperature up to 350 to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we're going to plop in our nuggets. And I only did it a few at a time, but they took about 3 or 4 minutes each. And once they look golden brown and beautiful like this, you can pull them out of the oil and let them rest on a wire rack. And right here, I couldn't wait to see how they turned out, so I took a bite, and there you go. That's what they look like on the inside. Not too shabby. And now it's time for a good old-fashioned taste test. And to be honest, I do think the KFC nuggets are great, but I think maybe they're just a little too chewy and firm. In fact, the texture was kind of like super firm tofu, so next time I might try that. But that being said, whatever they're doing to achieve this texture is amazing, and if they could just make it a little less dense, I think it'll be a game changer. And I know you can maybe get something like this with seitan, but I wanted to make something relatively quickly. And mine were definitely softer and easier to bite through, so perhaps a middle ground between the two would be ideal. But both my nuggets and the KFC had a lot of that signature KFC flavor, but I found that my breading was a bit thicker and had more of a crunch, as you can see and hear right here. And I did try one right when I got my order, and I ate these as soon as I got home, so it's not like I let them sit around and get soft. I just think the breading could be a little bit thicker and more robust. And now let's check out the breading on my chicken. So overall, I think that we totally made something on par with the KFC Beyond Chicken. So if you want to make some for yourself, check out the recipe link in the description. And if you want to make any other fried chicken recipes, check out my fried chicken playlist right here. And if you do make them, let me know how it goes. I hope you're all doing great, and I'll see you next time.